it's Margaret. You're Margaret Marshall. You're a healthy living expert, and today we're here with Brian Cohn. Brian Cohn has a challenge with us today. We're going to hear what it is and how we can help him. So, Brian, thank you so much for being with us today, and it's nice to have you here. And welcome.
Well, Margaret, it's absolutely my pleasure to be joining you today.
Thank you. So, how can we help you, Brian?
Well, one of the challenges I faced, and I've put on weight over the years. I am about 5'6". I made it up to 200 pounds, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. I wasn't really paying attention to the scale at that point in time. But I'm able to lose weight from exercise and really eating pure when I really want to do that. So to give you an example, in 2013, I climbed Mount Washington and I ran the New York City Marathon. I got down to a weight of 158. I'm now back up to 170. So I get those fluctuations in there. If I have a specific goal, or if I'm really working with an accountability partner or a trainer, I could get to whatever it is. It's the staying there that really becomes the issue.
Okay, so that's a really important question, and one of the things I always notice, Brian, the difference between men and women is men don't have a problem saying their weight, but women do. So I just don't want to scare all the women that they have to say how much they weigh, but thank you for sharing that with us. But what I heard in there is that we're talking about really quite a few pounds, and on a body frame that you said is 5'6".
Right. Roughly.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah. But honestly, I've relied on exercise many times to lose the weight. When I was training for the hike and the run up for the hike and also the marathon, obviously I was running a lot, so that certainly helped. And I lost about 25 pounds in a 3-month period. So in order to accomplish that. So and maybe that's not the. I can't do that all the time. Let's put it that way. Right. I don't want to do that all the time because as I get older, and I'm in my mid-50s, I'll admit that one too.
Okay.
At some point in time, I'm not going to be able to exercise as much to lose weight.
Right. Right. And exercise is a really important component of losing weight, but you have to be realistic with your exercise. And when you were training for a marathon or for a run or a hike up a mountain, that's extreme. And you can't keep that up. And if many people who do try and keep that up, they become injured. So, or they injure something that stops them from doing any kind of exercise. So where was your eating while you were doing this extreme training?
No, it was really good. I was eating sweet potatoes frequently, fish, and always was baked. Nothing was fried. Also, for breakfast, I'd have poached eggs. I was getting out, at least walking every morning. I would just go for a walk, responding to a few phone messages while I was doing it. But, so I was constantly doing that. And I was eating pure 100% all the time, no issue. I knew I had a specific goal, so I had no problem doing that. When I don't have specific goals that I run into.
Right, right. So what I always say to people, especially when I first start working with them, it has to be who you are and not what you're doing to be long lasting. So what I'm hearing from you when you have a goal or when you're working with a trainer, it's what you're doing at that time. It hasn't really become who you are to make it long lasting. That may or may not be true for you, but you're shaking your head yes. So I'm thinking something's resonating with you. So where is your eating now?
My eating now has been fairly good when I put the effort into doing that. So at the beginning of the week, I'll roast a cauliflower, I'll cook a couple of pounds of chicken, perhaps an eggplant. I'll have that throughout the week, handy for me in the refrigerator. My issue is when I get to the office, sometimes there's food there that's a little bit more convenient to eat, even if I bring this stuff in. So I'm not as specific when it comes to the goal.
So when you get to the office, do they have tell me, what do they have there? They have
a different day of the week. We have a different kind of food. It's Chinese food, it's Italian food, sandwiches, that kind of thing.
It's food you can make a meal out of. I thought you were going to tell me donuts and bagels. And
No. It's food you can make a meal out of, and I do. No,
okay,
I eat avocados. So
what'd you say, Brian?
I eat the avocados because I know that's good, and I do sandwiches. But I make a couple of extra trips to enjoy myself.
Okay, so I'm hearing quantity is an issue, and And are you challenged when food is in front of you and you didn't plan on eating it and you eat it anyway?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think causes that?
Boredom.
Boredom? Lack of time, maybe?
No, it's not lack of time. It's because I do have the time to prepare the food, and I do. It's that during the day the food is there. It's convenient to eat. It's good. It's enjoyable. It's quote unquote healthy food. So that's it's a matter of it's convenient. It's conveniently located there.
Okay. And what I'm hearing, Brian, is the food is not really bad for you, or nor if it's eaten correctly, it won't put weight on you, because it matters what you eat throughout the day. So if you choose to make, and I know you have a very busy schedule.
Right.
Correct? So
correct.
If you choose to make that meal in the middle of your day your main meal, would that be a possibility?
Yeah, it certainly would be. But I think it's more the quantity kind of thing.
Yes, and then you eat lighter the rest of the day. It used to be for me, my toughest time of the day was the afternoon. It was the most challenging time of the day. And what I learned, and I worked it into my schedule, is that I eat my main meal at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because that's how I conquered that challenge. So find a way to, I'm hearing that you want to eat that food in the office.
I certainly enjoy eating the food in the
okay.
office.
Is it possible with your schedule to make that your main meal?
Yes.
And then eat something lighter in the day? And remember, you just have to look at the day, and you have to look at food groups, not necessarily food items. So you want to make sure that you're getting more protein than carbohydrates. So when you're looking at the food that's being served, get more protein than carbohydrates. And is it possible to get fruits and or vegetables in along with that?
Yeah, I generally carry a couple of apples with me, that I eat frequently.
Okay.
Bananas is also something I've incorporated into my eating. So I'm eating the right foods. It's the quantity, and it's not staying. It's the quantity, really, I think is what it comes down to.
It's the quantity. Okay, so remember, when you get to the office and they're serving this food, you think food groups, not food items, okay? And then pay attention to your breathing. Have you ever done that?
No.
Pay attention to your breathing. Your breathing will tell you when you've had enough to eat. Once you start to sigh or breathe a little heavier, your body has had enough to eat. The message hasn't gotten to your brain yet. So you want to pay attention to your breathing. And sometimes people will say to me, Margaret, my breathing doesn't change. But once they start paying attention to it, then they can hear that. And so at that moment, you stop eating, you take a break or walk away from the food, and your body will catch up with the fact that you're satisfied with that. Will you try that?
Yeah, so would eating slower also fit right in with that?
Are you a fast eater?
Probably. I'll pay more attention to it, but I have a funny feeling that answer is going to be yes if I really.
Okay, so pay more attention to that. Yes, it definitely will. Pay attention to your breathing. Every time you take a bite of something, if it's a sandwich, put it down. If it's a fork, put it down while you chew. And don't put anything in your mouth until what's in there is swallowed. Because people will put something in their mouth, they're chewing it, and they're putting their next forkful in their mouth.
Right. It's interesting you bring that up, because when I was really eating very, very well, I found that I enjoyed my food that much more.
Yes.
And I did eat slower while I ate slower.
Right.
And making my own, it was fun to go and do. And I'm probably just eating lunch, that food that's there during the course of the day, just because it's there and
not thinking. And the analogy I always use with that, Brian, if you have only $10 in your pocket for the week, you're going to be very careful where you spend those $10. But if you have a $100 bill in your pocket for the week, you're not going to worry about where you spend $10 as much. Same is true with your food. If you have a whole bunch of food, you're not going to enjoy it as much when you're eating it so quickly. But when you know you have that portion that you're going to eat, you're going to eat it slower, and you're going to enjoy it more, and you're going to choose really what you like and not what you think is mediocre. So I would suggest that. I also would suggest, and this is what you said at the beginning of our interview, when you're training for something or you're working with somebody, you get a little extreme. Step back from being extreme and make it a lifestyle. Make it easy on yourself. And then that's what's long lasting. Like I said, it has to be who you are and not what you're doing. What you do, when it's what you're doing, it's short lived till that goal, that hike or that marathon happens, and then your goal is passed. Does that make sense?
Very much so. And my ultimate goal is to be on stage in front of people, letting them know that they could achieve their goals. So that is a lifestyle that I do want to live, that I want to make sure that everybody understands that they could live. So fitting in the way I approach food, the way I feel about myself, and this whole concept of slowing down and enjoying the food and everything else that we do in life makes a tremendous amount of sense.
It does, and it's really all about personal leadership. And I know you're a great leader. I know that about you. So take that skill that you have and use it on yourself.
You're very kind. Thank you.
Okay.
You're doing a phenomenal job yourself leading us.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Brian?
You've been doing a phenomenal job yourself leading us in different ways.
Oh, you're a sweetie. But what did you hear today that you'll implement?
It's making it a realistic lifestyle, and really understanding why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I want to change, or at least, it's curtail actually some of the eating that I'm doing. It seems to be like I'm eating right, just wrong quantity, but most importantly is that I'm not enjoying what I'm eating. I'm just eating for the sake of eating, and that's probably, I think, the biggest takeaway right now. And I got to breathe.
What a great awareness. Good for you. I'm so glad you joined us today, Brian, and I thank you for being here. And again, it's Margaret Marshall, your healthy living expert, and I would ask you to subscribe to this channel because someone else just may have your challenge and you'll get the answers. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
All right. Enjoy your day.
And you.